Clemson football back on the field for spring football this week. Jason Priester here from the Clemson Insider, of course, to help us break down the Tigers. We're going to look at the offense. Jason, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, man. How about yourself?
I am doing just fine. People ready for spring ball, and I got to give it up for Dabo and the staff because when I think of spring football games being on TV, I think of being excited for about 3 minutes, and then I watch 3 plays and I realize that this is not football. It's boring. But I got to say, listening to Dabo and the way ESPN has done the Clemson spring game, like a TV show, that's the way you got to handle it. Like a TV show. It's not a football game. It's a TV show. You do a preview of the season, preview of the team. It's actually entertaining. And again, Dabo on the field, mic'd. That's entertainment right there.
Yeah, I think Dabo's kind of mastered the art of the spring game. You've got all these other programs canceling spring games. You got fans inside this fan base worried about Clemson spring game getting canceled. I don't think you have to worry about that. I think Dabo likes the spring game. He likes the spectacle of it, and it gets him a shot at putting some of his younger guys in some game type situations and seeing what they do. Puts more stuff on film to coach from. It's a big weekend up there, man. Not just football wise, business. It attracts business. Gets a lot of the local businesses. Get a lot of footwork or foot travel from people that head up to the game. It's a big deal. I just don't know that I see it going away the way some of these other programs have done. Southern Cal, Texas, and maybe Ohio State. There's 3 or 4 of them out there, but Nebraska too, maybe. But yeah, he has definitely turn that into a spectacle, and it is highly entertaining. I'm usually at them live, but I always make sure to come back and watch it because you never know what he said during the broadcast.
All right, let's size up the offense, Jason. This offense was number 11 in the country in yards per game, led by Cade Klubnik. 19 touchdowns and 9 picks the year before, but significantly better, was top 5 in the nation in touchdown passes this past year. And if anyone didn't see Cade Klubnik's process or his progress from week to week throughout the season, which we definitely witnessed, I did in just the 6 or 7 games that I watched, but you watch every play, you definitely saw it against Texas in the playoff game in that he was able to carry an offense against a team that was significantly better, keep Clemson in the game. So Cade Klubnik went from a guy that we didn't quite see it in 2023 as to him emerging as a top flight quarterback to arguably the best quarterback in college football coming back in 25.
Yeah, it just took a little bit longer to get there than some of us had envisioned. I thought he'd get there quicker than he did, but everybody develops at their own pace. And, he really, particularly over the back half of last season, he really started to come into his own. 36 touchdowns and just 6 interceptions, had close to 500 rushing yards. I think another 7 rushing touchdowns. He absolutely killed it. And the pinnacle was that Texas game. I know Clemson lost, but like you just touched on, he kind of single-handedly kept them in that thing with no running game, just him and those group of pass catchers he's working with. And against that Texas defense that had been awfully stingy against the pass all season long. And when you're talking about Clemson's offense, it kind of starts with him, but man, they sure do get a lot of experience back, a lot of production back, at most every spot, not all spots, but most every spot. But if Clemson's got playoff aspirations next season, of course they do. They got national championship aspirations for next season. Obviously they do. It's going to start and stop with the play of Cade Klubnik, and they'll go as far as he can take them.
Top 10 in the nation in yards per game, and also 3rd in the nation in touchdown passes out of Cade Klubnik. Is there any way to nitpick in regards to anything else that he could do better this year?
I don't know. You always want to keep improving. He improved so much over the course of last season. You'd like to see him keep getting better when it comes to scanning the field and going through his progressions. And he improved so much in the turnover department from his sophomore year to his junior year. We saw him fumble the ball. Golly, I forget how many times in 2023, almost cut all those out last year. it was a remarkable turnaround. And I think he's still probably got another step he can take. I think he said he thinks he's still got another step he can take. I think he's not yet hit his ceiling. I think he could probably still keep improving in all aspects of his game. But for me, it's the little things, the footwork, maybe not taking quite as many sacks as he did last year. He had a handful that were on him, and his footwork, and again, reading his progressions, scanning the field, and those kind of things.
God forbid Klubnik goes down, but we have to obviously give the entire room a look, because the backup quarterback's the least important guy on the roster, but then in one play, he can become the most important guy on the roster. So Chris Vezina, now, is this his third season or just, okay, his third season? So most hotshot guys that are 5-stars expect to be on the field by season 3. He's not. I assume he's content because he's in line for 2026. Your thoughts about Vezina, if he would be called into action, and the rest of the room?
Yeah, he's kind of the exception to the rule with quarterbacks these days. I thought it was fair to wonder if he'd stick around if Klubnik decided to come back for his senior season. And by all accounts, man, there was never a concern inside that building. He always knew he was coming back, whether Cade Klubnik came back or not. And after redshirting his first year, sat behind Klubnik last year, he'll sit behind Klubnik again this year. But this is a guy that's got 2 seasons in the system under his belt now. Still haven't seen very much of him, so we don't know a lot about him when it comes to what he can do on the field. We get glimpses in spring games. I just there ain't a whole lot to take from those, in my opinion. The couple of times, or the handful of times he got on the field last season, it was a mixed bag, but he's kind of leashed. They're not going to, those were in garbage time in games. Clemson was well out in front. They're not going to, let him go out there and play all out and push the ball down the field and those kind of things. But that's a guy they're high on. If you listen to Dabo Sweeney, he's extremely confident in Vezina, and I think he wouldn't have no trouble, which he wouldn't have any choice if Klubnik went down. But I think he wouldn't hesitate to call Vezina's number again. He's been there a couple of years now. This is his 3rd year in that system, and he should be well versed in that offense. But until you see it, you just don't ever know.